Boys and girls, here is your study guide for your third assessment, and it's just questions 1 through 6. Hi boys and girls, I'm just going to go over a couple of your study guide questions that you had for homework last night, just in case you needed a little bit of extra help. Okay, question 1, I already did this one. The other ones that are coming, I'll do them with you. Taylor took 560 photographs during summer vacation. So as you can see, that became my dividend, 560 photos, which I've labeled. She placed 12 photos on each page of her scrapbook, which is why I divided the 560 photos into groups of 12. Every time I make a group of 12, that becomes a page in her scrapbook. But she had fewer than 12 to place on the last page. How many photos did Taylor place on the last page? Well, if I'm starting with 560 photos and I'm dividing that into groups of 12, when I get a remainder, those are also going to be photos. They also need to go on a page, but I don't have enough to fill up a full page. So I have 46 full pages, but on the 47th page, which is the extra page, there will only be 8 photos. So the answer here actually comes from our remainder. You can see that I did a guess and check column over here to help me figure it out if I wasn't quite sure about my 12 times tables. Question 2. Sophia wants to buy collector boxes that can hold 6 dolls each. How many boxes will Sophia need to buy for her collection of 168 dolls? The first thing I want to point out is whoever typed this did not capitalize Sophia's name the second time it shows up in the problem, so I apologize for that. This should definitely be capitalized. Anyway, Sophia has 168 dolls. Okay, these are dolls, and I know that she wants to split them up into boxes of 6. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this until, of course, there are no dolls left and all the dolls are in boxes. So this is going to continue this pattern. So division is really repeated subtraction, right? If I took all those dolls and kept subtracting away 6 until I had none left, all the dolls would be in boxes. So that's a clue that I have a division problem here. So I'm going to use the algorithm and divide my dolls into groups of 6. Okay, these are dolls. Now, if I have leftover, they're also going to be dolls. When I get my answer, those are going to be boxes, collector boxes. So first thing I'm going to do is ask myself, I have 100, I have 100, and I can't share that 6 ways. So I'm going to break that apart and include it with my tens, so that gives me 16 tens, and I definitely can split that into 6 parts. Okay, so I've got 4 left in the tens place. Then I'm going to combine with the 8 and make it 48 ones. So now I've got 48 dolls to share 6 ways. And I know a basic fact that 6 times 8 is 48. So when I subtract this, I have no dolls left. Okay, there's a 0. I don't want to get into question number 3 there with my work. So how many boxes will I need for the 168 dolls? 28 boxes. Number 3. Mrs. T has 154 books on 7 shelves in her classroom. Each shelf holds the same number of books. Okay, another typo here. She wants to find the number of books on each shelf. In what place value should Mrs. T write the first digit of the quotient for the problem 154 divided by 7? So this problem is just asking you if you recognize that I can't split 100 7 ways. So if I break that apart and make it 15 tens, that is where my first digit will go. So it's asking you what place value should Mrs. T write the first digit. And of course, it would be above the 5, which would be the tens place. Number 4. Casey has a piece of yarn that is 7.2 yards long. So let's draw a picture of that. 7.2 yards. She needs to cut the yarn into pieces that measure 0.3 yards long. How many pieces of yarn can she cut? So I know that out of this piece of yarn, she wants to make pieces that are 0.3 yards long. And I want to know how many I can cut this piece of yarn into. So I know I want to divide my 7.2 yards into groups of 3/10 of a yard. Now remember the rule for this. When you see a decimal in your divisor, you're going to move it until it's at the end of the digit to make it a whole number. However many hops that one takes, the dividend decimal will also take. So I know that I need to move my decimal point right up there. So now my problem becomes 72 divided by 3, and my decimal will be here. I may need to add a 0 on the end of the 72. I'm not quite sure yet. Let's see how this works out. So I have 7 tens I want to divide by 3. That would be 2, with 1 left over. I'm going to bring down the 2 to make 12. And I know that 3 goes into 12 4 times. Okay, I can take 12 and divide that by 3, and it would be 4. And that would give me all 12 with nothing left over. So how many pieces of yarn can she cut is my question, and the answer would be 24 pieces. Question 5. A plumber has a piece of pipe that is 112 8/10 inches long. He needs to cut the pipe into 12 equal pieces to make repairs. How long will each pipe be? Okay, so here I have a pipe that is 112 8/10 inches long, and this time he's cutting it into 12 equal pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this side, and 6 on that side. So that's what I'm doing, and I want to know how long will each pipe be. So each piece, okay, one little piece, is what I want to know. So that's a division problem. I'm taking my 112 8/10 and dividing that 12 ways. Okay. For those of you who are not super comfortable with your 12 times tables, make yourself a guess and check area. Okay, there are some that you may know, so you can use those to help you figure out what you need. I know that I can take 100 and split that 12 ways. I can combine that with my 110. Now I have 11 tens. I also can't share that 12 ways. So now I'm breaking up all of my units into ones. I've got 112 ones. So you may know some of your facts. You might know that 12 times 4 is 48. And you might know that 2 of those would get me kind of close to what I need. Okay, I've got 96. Let's try one more just to be sure. Wow, look at that. I'm glad I checked because 12 times 9 is 108. That's exactly what I need. I'm left with 4. Okay, I'm ignoring that decimal point for now. Okay, 12 goes into 48, and that one you probably know is 4, with nothing left over. Just don't forget to pop that decimal point right up into your quotient. Okay, there was no decimal point in the divisor, so I didn't need to move the decimal point in the dividend at all. So how long will each pipe be is the question that I want to answer. And of course I found out that it will be 9 4/10 inches long. And that's my final answer. Number 6. The pool director has a list of 123 students who have signed up for swimming lessons. The pool director can register 7 students in each class. What is the least number of classes needed for all the students to be registered in all classes? All right, well, I know this story is about students that want to be in a class, and only 7 students can be in each class. So let me just draw myself a little sketch. I have 123 students, and I know that every time I make a group of 7, it's a class. So I can use repeated subtraction to form classes. And this is going to continue until I used up all of my 123 students. So now I'm pretty sure I'm dividing 123 into groups of 7, and I want to remind myself that these are students. So when I have a remainder, they are also going to be students. So that helps me to know what to do with my remainder when I get to the end. So I'm going to go ahead and start dividing. Every time I make a group, it's going to be a class. So I know that my quotient will be number of classes. I can't split 107 ways, so I can break that apart, decompose that, and make it 12 tens, which I can split 7 ways. I can make 1 10 in each group. That's going to leave me with 5 tens. I can't do anything with that until I decompose it and make it ones with the 3, so I've got 53 students left. Okay, so I've got 53 students left, and I know that 7 times 7 would give me 49 students with 4 students left over. Now those students need to be put into a class. I know that I've got 17 full classes, so 17 classes with 7 students in each, and I need 1 extra class for 4 students. So my final answer, what is the least number of classes needed for all the students to be registered, would be 18 classes. Okay, that's important for you to interpret that remainder. What exactly are these 4 things? What should I do with them? I can't make a fraction out of that because I can't have a fraction of a class. Those students need to have their own class. We just don't have enough to make a full class. So we're going to add on an extra class, and that last class will not be full. I hope that was helpful. See you later.